all at once.
What's up, guys?
What's
Hi, guys.
up?
Hi. Hello.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Unsighted. I'm your host, Johnny,
And I'm Orly.
and we have two special guests here.
Maura.
And Yalina.
Welcome to our podcast. How y'all feeling tonight?
We're feeling good.
I'm a little worried.
Worried about what?
My kid.
Your kid? Your kid's fine.
So,
So guys, I've been reflecting for the past week about, mainly about my past, but and I keep wondering how my life could have been if I would have been raised by both my mom and my dad.
because you were raised only by your mom, right?
Not only by my mom, I was raised by my mom and my stepdad. But the thing with this is that my relationship with my stepdad was it was really bad. Me and him used to clash a lot. So in reality, I never really saw him as a father figure. So that being said, I'm wondering if I would have had my mom and my dad by my side, if my life would have had less, I'd say, less troubles.
How do you think it would have been different? Or better?
Um, that's the question. How because since my dad wasn't there, I think I've been lost along the way. Like I lost my way in so many ways, meaning career wise. Wait, what happened?
No, Mara, stop playing with the little
Oh, sorry.
button.
It's just you guys. Sorry.
I think career wise.
We're all like,
Oh,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I think career wise, it would have been way better because my stepdad, he used to be un campesino, and all he used to do was, montar en caballo and estar en la vega. And I was not about that life. I was mainly, in the city. I had other things in mind. By the time I was a kid, but as I grew and as we came into this country, he was somebody that, again, he used to clash with me a lot. And whatever guidance he may have tried giving me, I was not receiving that very well.
Did,
You go,
did you not? Okay, did you not receive whatever guidance he knew how to give you at the moment because he wasn't your actual?
my actual father?
Yeah.
It was mainly because the way he used to treat me, bro. Like from the start, the first thing I remember was him giving me attitude, and he used to hit me. So automatically, that was a no to me. Like, yo, if my dad is not putting a finger on me, there's no shot you're gonna hit me. Like, there's no way.
But like hit you in like physical abuse
Yeah.
or like.
Hit me, discipline me.
No,
Cuban
'cause-
parents,
no,
they
I-
smack you when you
not
misbehave.
abusive.
Oh, okay. No,
but
because
he used to discipline me.
because Hispanic parents, when we
Yeah.
hit, is different
Yeah.
than what you see in the media
Yeah,
here.
but
like,
still,
you know.
you're looking at a guy and he's hitting you, and you're like, bro, what the fuck? You're not my dad.
Yeah, I know.
Like my own dad has never put a finger on me. What makes you think that you can do that?
Yeah.
So you see that as like child abuse, like towards you.
Not child abuse. Like I've to like I'm 31 years old. I've matured enough to look back and be like, okay, he was trying to educate me. Like
Tough love.
fine. But at the time, I was not seeing that. So
So you think your father being present would have guided you to go to continue your education and do better?
I'm not saying that my dad would have done a better job,
Okay.
but it all has to do with the whole feeling of, I see my mom here and I see my dad here, and we're all one. Instead of me just seeing my mom, and then there's this guy that he just came into our lives and he's doing all this sort of bad things to me that I don't like. So I'm rejecting him because of that.
So you rejected him since the beginning,
Since the beginning.
or
Since
once you got to this country?
no, since the beginning, since the very first moment that he put a finger on me, I was like, nah.
What did your mom say about that?
Oh, she allowed that.
I'm baby.
She allowed that.
I was like, what is that
What's
smell?
burning?
She allowed that. But my whole point is, how do you think growing without a father can affect somebody's mental health?
That's a tough one because you have your parents together. I have my parents. You have had your parents.
I could give you a little bit. In my case, it wasn't like I didn't have my dad for that long without me. I was in Cuba. I got here on '96, so I was in Cuba. I was without my dad for a whole year because he came first to the United States and then he claimed me and my mom.
How old were you?
I got here when I was 8, so I was 7
You were 7 when your
when he left.
dad left.
Yeah, and then the one that raised me was my uncle. Even to the point that when I got here a year later, I used to call my dad uncle because I was so used to being with my uncle.
Wow.
But I mean, I was 7, so that's why I can't really say like it affected me that much.
I mean,
Because
you had
I got used to it pretty quick because I'm a kid. I was a kid, and my uncle was. It wasn't like your story. Like, he wasn't that strict. He was also like a father figure.
That's what I was gonna
So-
say. You had a dad
so-
thing.
Yeah, but I guess the difference is that in your case, he wasn't your dad and he wasn't also family. Because if it would have been your uncle or somebody that was already family, you
Right.
would have taken it differently.
Right.
So
I think so too.
that's why it affected you too. You knew that he wasn't your father, so you're like, okay, if my dad doesn't hit me, my own dad, why are you gonna hit me or tell me what to do?
I mean,
you know?
your dad could have hit you too.
Yeah,
But-
exactly.
But yeah,
If it
but
was
you
your
would have
dad.
taken it differently, like because it's your dad, so he's
or
the
no,
one that.
because just because it's your dad doesn't.
It depends
mean
how he
that-
hits you too. When I say hit, is like Hispanic hit.
Yeah,
like,
what,
Hey,
do
but
we,
it's your
what do
dad.
we mean by hitting? Because my dad
He
used to hit me
discipline you.
sometimes.
Like-
discipline, tough.
Yeah.
Hispanic
Like-
discipline.
Hispanic, tough
Yeah.
love.
Yeah,
Smack in the ass,
yeah.
Because it could have
Right.
been worse.
Chancletazo.
la chancleta,
It could have been worse. You
No,
could have.
la nalgada, la trompa.
el cocotazo.
He used to do different things though. Like when I was a little bit older, like 9 or 10, like he used to like sacarme la sangre con un cinto. To that
And your
extent.
mom allowed that?
Yes.
And you never told anybody else? Like your own father?
Yes. I think they may have had some encounters along the way. And honestly, I can't really tell you how they sorted that out because I was too little by the time. But my mom, I can tell you, my mom allowed that 100%. Because I used to have, oh, bro, I've lost count of how many conversations I've had with my mom after shit happened. I'll be like, mami, ¿por qué tú dejas que la haga esto? Mami, que se vaya para acá. ¿Por qué tú estás dejando que me haga esto a mí? No, porque, él te quiere, he loves you, he wants the best for you, you're doing this wrong, this and that, this is not how you should take it. She just wouldn't listen. She would just think that was the right thing to do.
I mean, yeah, that's a tough situation to be in because you're a kid, so, and then you don't have anybody else to actually call out all the actual, excuse my French, bad shit that's happening.
Yeah.
So I can't really give you my opinion on it because I've never went through it like that, But yeah, I can't. I don't know.
Regardless, all your childhood, it's been studied that it does affect you along the way psychologically, and the way you act, the way your manners, everything that happens in your childhood usually reflects as an adult.
And also, knowing you as my friend or the time I known you, because you could have
You're
turned out.
pretty okay.
Yeah, you could have.
Yeah, you're
That's the
okay.
thing.
You're actually-
like how
Pretty okay.
And let me tell you something. I feel like sometimes when you have both parents, but they're very spoiled with you and stuff like that, it could actually lead to you when you grow up being worse. Not for all the cases, but you know,
Yeah,
like
not
you don't
for
know
all
what
the
you don't know.
cases,
Yeah,
'cause I
yeah,
was very spoiled.
Yeah.
Still,
Still are.
I think that
Still,
could be I think that could be relative until a certain extent though, because you cannot compare somebody growing up with both their parents as somebody else growing without their parents.
no, it's tough.
but
No,
what
it's
if their
definitely
parents are
different.
Like-
abusive?
What?
What if their parents are abusive too? Like that can.
That's what I'm saying. It can be relative, but only until a certain extent. And because what are the chances? Just think about it. What are the chances of somebody that grows out with both their parents that they don't turn out as bad as somebody that grows without their parents?
I don't.
Statistically, I mean,
Yeah.
I could look it up. But
I mean,
I don't think
you're
it-
talking about somebody that's growing without a guidance, like alguien que lo discipline,
because
que lo
just-
guíe.
just like you had a bad experience, there's a lot of people that have a good experience with their stepfathers, stepmothers, and are actually better parents than their own parents.
yeah,
So it really all depends.
What
But-
about the ones that don't have that at all? That's what I'm saying.
okay, so
So
Who-
how could that
what-
affect your mental health?
it can.
If you
it can
grow-
definitely affect your
Anything
mental
can
health.
affect your mental health
think-
at this point.
I think it affects you more than if you had
It
like
has to.
it does.
Obviously.
From
It
what
has
the little I know or I've read or I've heard, or statistics or whatever from other people that are specialists in that and all that, it does affect you more when you grow up without with a single parent home, you know, basically,
Or abusive parents.
or
like,
abusive parent.
Yeah.
yeah.
But but it also depends on the person too, because there's people that they all that abuse and they grow up to be great people, like they grow up to be even better than
I
they.
think
Yeah,
at
but
some
what about
point
the
it's like a
traumas?
choice.
Huh?
I think at some point it becomes a choice. Like, you know, your parents were abusive to you, so you decide if you want to be like that person or you want to be a different person. Like,
Yeah.
when I used to work in the hospital and I used to work with like very problematic kids, and then they would get visits from their parents, you would like 100% understand where they got it from. It was like, oh, this makes so much sense.
And actually, during my career in criminal justice, you study that. There's books and there's studies that most criminals either have a history and there's a choice that you make, like based on your childhood and how you were raised. At some point, you have to make a choice. Are you going to be like them or are you going to be different? And that's the only two options that you usually take or you have.
Do you think so it has to do more with the person, how strong they are mentally when they grow up, like to decide, oh, I'm gonna be as like that or go in the
That's
bad.
something you can't decide on though.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like that just comes naturally
Wait, what comes
out
naturally?
of instinct. Like if you turn out bad, you know, that has to come without you even thinking, oh, my parents are bad. My parents are horrible to me. I'm gonna act as
Okay, it depends. I've seen some people that were so badly abused and traumatized that it was really hard for them to like,
Know any better?
no, yeah, exactly, to be like a different person.
that's the thing. It doesn't matter how good of a person you are, you can also have those traumas in there. You know, those demons eating
But
you
also,
alive
like-
from the inside out.
But I still feel like there's something in there that is a choice.
And once you're damaged, you're damaged. Because look at Kevin. Like, I have a little cousin that his parents separated when he was smaller. He didn't take it well. He started having all these issues, suppressed all his emotions. Eventually came out. His parents are living together for his sake, but he's still sick. He still gets panic attacks, or he's still like, it's not the same. He's already been affected. He already has a condition and needs to be treated. So
Yeah, I
Oh
think
yeah, it can leave that in terms of like depression and anxiety and stuff like that. It can leave like a long life
Yeah.
mark on you. But
But
people
you're
that
okay.
end up in prison and stuff
Yeah,
like
okay.
that because
Yeah, you're-
Just listening.
I think everybody has their own
Demons?
Demons, regardless if you had bad parents or not. I'm guessing if you didn't have a good home, it's worse when you grow up because it stays with you longer or it stays with you. Because somebody that didn't have a bad home or a bad relationship with their stepdad or all of that, I'm guessing they don't have that in their mind all the time,
Right.
when they grow up. But I feel like everybody has their own demons or anxieties and like
And this is not
depression.
counting the problems that come along the way, like the problems that come from the street, not the ones that are constantly happening at home.
Yeah, but those I think you can't control. Like regular life problems, that's
Given, but you're in a home and you're with both your parents and shit's out of hand out there. I don't know, whatever you dedicate your life on, may it be work, studies, this and that. And you have it rough out there. And you come back home, te puedes desahogar con tu padre. And your parent can be like, hey, son, it's going to be okay.
yeah. But let me tell
What
you,
if you don't have that?
it's tough. But let me tell you from my experience, I hardly talk to my parents when something's, even when I was a kid or a teenager or now, when something's wrong with me, I don't even ask for my parents for advice or anything. I always, because I like
Why
keeping,
not?
Yeah, but you knew you had them.
But you had them. Exactly. You have
knew
them as, you know the
could.
option is
you
there.
just didn't want to. That's like
But you
something
chose not to.
different.
Yeah, I
Right.
chose not to because that's my personality. I feel like.
I
Well,
think
if-
it all comes down to like, do you have parents that make you feel secure or not? 'Cause
Yeah.
that also
Yes.
affects like, we have like attachment styles, right? When you grow up, you can either be secure, insecure, anxious, right? So it all depends on how you grow up and your childhood and how your parents were with you. So, like for example, I feel like I am very secure because I had a great childhood and my parents were very like always gave me security and I knew I could always talk to them even though I really didn't, but I knew they were there for me.
yeah, you
I-
knew if you
yeah.
needed them, you had somebody to talk to.
But some people grew up and they don't have that and they grew up to be very like anxious people and those people end up in relationships that are really insecure in their relationship and they don't really trust their partners, and it all comes down to what happened at home when they were little. They didn't see that in their parents. And you also another thing, I don't think you need like your parents to grow up like that. If you have a figure like, you can be adopted and some adopted kids grow up to be great,
Yes.
you know, because they
I
were
agree.
loved, they were shown, security from a very early age. Some parents can be so bad, and yeah.
Yeah.
So
And still be together.
Yeah,
Be bad together.
yeah.
I know. I know people personally. I'm not gonna say names that they had their parents and dude, it was tough. Even worse than if they didn't have it, like tough. So yeah,
How did they come out? Like, just
What do you mean, tough?
really?
she wasn't there. It was like if she didn't have a parent, the person. So
And they grew up with their parents?
they got raised by their aunt, by their mom, by the parents of the kid of their parents. I don't even know what I'm saying.
Wait, what?
What?
So because I'm not trying to
what are you
say
eating,
names
drinking?
because it's
Okay.
like personal.
Right.
So it was like her parents.
Her grandparents.
Yeah, her grandparents.
Her
raised
Okay,
her.
that's
Sorry.
typical
Yeah.
for Cubans.
Okay.
Right.
Your grandparents just take over.
But it affected that person. That
Of course.
her parents were there, then she knew they were there, but still didn't do anything to be a part of her life or his life.
Bro, it's
And
crazy.
that can go both ways. That can either
See what you
make
did there?
that can, and that's what I was saying before. It can go that it's a choice. It can go both ways. This person can grow to be like, you know what, my parents weren't there for me, so I'm not gonna be there for my kids because it's just not in me to be there for them. Or you can be like, they weren't there for me, so I don't wanna repeat that. So I think at some point it does become a choice.
So it
We're not
can-
talking about people who grew up in like violent houses and then all the way through their teenage year it was violent and then obviously it's bound to happen. They're gonna end up in jail.
It can make you or break you.
But let me tell you, those. I'll give you an example. Let's say you grew up with a horrible home, right? And then you grow up, you have a kid, you're a horrible father also.
Because you don't know any better.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like in your case, I I don't see you like that.
But he
And-
didn't have like horrible.
No, but it's because the people.
But now he probably
I'm-
won't hit his kids. Would
Yeah.
you hit your kid to educate
No,
them?
I don't think I will.
But you think
I don't
think
think
it's
I've
because
ever-
of? Do you think it's because of how everything is different nowadays than before?
No,
This is a different generation. Everything's like
I just don't
we have more
want.
information.
The main thing is that I don't want my kid to go through the same thing I went through.
So,
So
that's-
you're taking the
Exactly.
choice to not be what you had.
I know
Exactly.
people that
Basically.
have been through your same thing and they grew up and they're not as good parents as I think you're gonna be. I'm pretty sure you're gonna turn
Thank
out
you, bro.
really good. Yeah. So no, I'm just
hope.
being honest.
I just want my
From knowing
child
you
to grow
personally.
with the least traumas possible.
That should, I
You
feel
know.
like that
Que
should
no
be.
salga de la puerta para afuera entonces.
But it's good to have.
But coming
In this
from
society?
I mean,
But it's also good to have a good, let's say,
porque si sale pensativo como yo, oh man, poor Lance.
but it's also good to have
He's gonna have it rough.
tough times because it makes
Exactly.
you tougher.
like you being a tough parent, you mean?
Yeah,
Or
sometimes you
The
have.
child to have tough
Yeah.
Oh, of
moments.
It's not
I mean,
always like,
it's gonna
oh,
go
blah,
through
blah,
that
blah, blah.
regardless.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
always like-
Obviously, I want him
all
to like man
rainbows.
up, but I don't want him to suffer. You get what I'm saying? Like I don't want him. Let's say, I don't want to see him fight or, you know,
So
I
you're
don't
gonna
want
be
to
one
see.
of you're gonna be one of those parents. I don't know if you've seen like white parents and Hispanic parents, and then Hispanics are like, "No, I gotta take that," and then white parents are like, "Can you please put the stuff in its place?" And then they're like very patient. Are you gonna be a gentle parent?
It's a new trend. It's a gentle. It's called gentle.
Gentle
something.
parenting, yeah.
Gentle
I'll
parenting,
see
it
when I
is.
get there. But if I ever have to discipline my child, it'll be through penitencia and
What is-
un castigo.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So like you
So
can't.
time out.
Yeah, you can't play
some
with your
time
toys
out.
until you
Hey,
behave. Or,
give me your toys. Give me your I don't know your phone, your tablet, whatever. No TV. Just lay in bed all day long, or for 6 hours straight. No, from the bed to the bathroom to pee and back to the bed. That's it.
I'm
That's
not a.
traumatic.
I'm
No,
not a.
that's not traumatic.
No, it is. You know what?
It is not.
I'm gonna tell you that one
Why?
time that I was punished, and I still remember to this day. And I don't remember much of my childhood to be bad or good. It's just I was a normal kid. My mom, I was her only child, so I was very she was very overprotective. But I don't even remember what I did. She would always hit me. Like Cuban parents, they hit you. Chancleta, smackdown, whatever she had, pues donde me cogiera. But there was this one time that they kept telling her, don't hit her, just punish her and she'll learn. She'll eventually, they say that we learn better. We remember the punishment, therefore we don't remember to not do it again. Lights, please.
Oh yeah, lights.
Technical difficulties.
So I remember this one time my mom punished me, and that's exactly what she did. She me trancó en el cuarto in Cuba, and I didn't have much in my room. My room was like bed, la comodita, and that's it. So I remember being in bed, like punished, crying, and remembering that I had nothing to do, and I remember that I was punished.
It was effective then.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And you
But
said
it's
that
still-
traumatized you?
Yes, I still remember it.
But it wasn't like abuse or nothing.
That's the only thing I remember. I don't remember her hitting me. I know she used to hit me, but there was not like this exact hit that I remember that traumatized
Sometimes
me.
you block it because it
How
was
do you not
traumatizing.
remember your parents hitting you?
Oh, I remember they hit me, but I don't remember like you have the memory of him
Oh, yes.
making you bleed.
Oh yes.
My mom would hit me, but I don't have that memory of specific times that she hit me. I have the memory of the one time she punished me in a room by myself. See? So it's different.
I remember
my
a few
mom
times.
slapping me across the face.
But-
They've hit you
Go-
across the face.
yeah, my mom,
She
What about your
slapped you.
dad? Has your dad hit you?
you see, I don't, and he's the toughest, but I don't remember him hitting me. I do remember him hitting my brother though.
Oh,
Poor thing.
See, it's
Yeah.
different for me. My dad never hit me. He hit me once because I almost got run over by a car in 40th Street picking up a toy. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Sometimes you lose your shit. You don't know what you're gonna.
But he
start.
never
You
hit
don't know
me.
what you're
My
gonna
dad disciplined me, and he punished me when I did something wrong or stuff like that. But I think that teaches you value because, you need that because then you make it a bad habit if you always get what you want, and they don't teach you discipline or no, you cannot play with your toys until you do your homework. You can.
but there are so many ways of disciplining the child. Like, lo puedes castigar. And that's a way of, like, you hit him where it hurts mentally. You get what I'm saying? Like, if he loves his toys so much, then
Yeah.
where the hit is at. Yo, let me get that toy. You're not having a toy for the next 8 hours.
Well, it's.
8 hours is a little bit too much.
I'm gonna go off topic
No,
here,
okay.
but
I'm just saying. Obviously, it depends on the age. Like, if he's already 9, I'll be like, yo, 3 days without a phone.
3 days.
That's gonna hit him.
I think that's
He's
a
gonna
good thing.
remember that
learn,
for the
but
rest
he's
of
gonna
his
learn
life.
because 3 days without a phone nowadays. Oh, that's wild.
I don't even think kids should have phones until they're like.
How old? My little cousin has a whole
mean-
phone
Well,
and iPad.
let me say.
and she's like
When did I get a phone?
6. She's 6.
I grew up without a phone.
You grew up in Cuba.
Different times.
No, I came when I was 8.
8.
Different times.
96.
You grew up
Different.
basically.
Different
Yeah,
times.
that's what I'm
My
saying.
first phone,
But-
I got my first phone, on my first paycheck when I was 18.
But let me ask you this: don't you think it's better, as a kid, growing without all that technology and all that information that you have now? And now it's even worse than what it was before. Now you don't want your kids online because there's really not a way to control it.
Correct.
There isn't. They say
Nope.
there is, but there isn't.
As many rules
You can't even-
and as many things you
Yeah,
put.
you can't even control it yourself, even if you tried, unless you
Yeah.
stop using it.
Yeah, but
And
I mean,
look how bad it is. Like for me, it's addictive. Like you go on TikTok, example, and you stay there, you're like a zombie. Imagine for a kid that they're
No,
sponges.
given.
They're
Given.
like always up. It's gonna build such a bad
the
habit.
only reason why I would give my child a phone at an early age would be for safety purposes.
Yeah, I was
Emergencies.
just gonna say because
There's-
shit is
Tracking.
crazy right now.
That's why I had a phone.
Without internet.
Yeah, but
back then.
not
Just
every
so you
phone
can
has to be
call.
like touchscreen. They still sell those cheapy ones. Que
That's what I'm saying.
that he could have a phone like that.
And those
Hey
never
mom,
break.
hey dad,
Oh,
pick
then,
me
then
up.
your child is going to be bullied
Why?
because he has that ugly ass old phone and everybody has an iPhone
But
or
that's
something.
That's when you teach him and be like, no, you have an
That's
old.
how you teach them
That's-
value.
Okay, you could teach your child whatever value you want. You're not going to be able to teach the bully at school making fun of him anything.
But you teach your kid at home what, like, before it happens, so you prepare him for those type of things. Like my dad, he used to tell me, when you get in a fight, you punch first, because whoever punches first punches double.
It's gonna be a shitty
I
road.
mean, bullies are gonna be bullies.
Not
you know,
here.
you're not gonna.
Not here.
And when I came from Cuba, they used to bully me. They used to call me ref and stuff like that, and punch.
Okay, but
Everybody
you're not,
got
you
called
can't,
the ref. when
correct.
they-
And you can't compare yourself and us, maybe not much Maura, but still, to the kids nowadays. Because in Cuba, you get bullied and it's normal and they call you names and everybody
No.
laughs and it's normal. Like it's a normal
But that
thing.
was
Que
here.
decían cabezón and whatever.
No, that was
Aquí
here.
no.
That was here. I got bullied here. In Cuba, I never got bullied.
Okay, but you came from Cuba.
Yeah,
So for
but-
you, it was like, ha ha ha, whatever.
No,
They're
but
making fun of me.
But it wasn't Cuba. It was how my parents raised me to not take shit from nobody. Like like if you're bullied, don't feel bad. So of course, I'm a kid. I've always felt bad, but when I did something and it stopped, I'm like, okay, they're just idiots. Like in my mind, like, they're just Or,
I mean, any road is gonna be a shitty road, right? You just gotta know which road you'd rather
So you're gonna give your
roll
kid an
with.
iPhone when they go to school,
man.
just so that he doesn't get bullied.
I'll get him a good phone, not one of those
Get him
things he
one of
wants to
those.
get.
With internet,
Get him one of those Nokias that used to have the little snake thing.
listen,
Oh,
those
that's my
never-
first phone. I was just gonna
those
say.
never break. I used to throw
Never.
those against
I'm
the
saying,
wall,
bro.
and they would never
That's
break.
gonna serve the purpose, bro, and that's what the kid needs. Just call me when you need me, and that's it.
Listen, if you get him a phone and they bully him, oh, you have an old phone. I'm like, well, I'm not a zombie on my phone like you. Teach him how to speak back or defend himself. certain situations.
Right.
I think that's some like you could teach your kid how to like because I know a lot of kids that are they don't take shit. They know how to talk back. If
I
you bully
didn't
them.
take any shit. I never got bullied in school.
I got bullied a bunch of times.
I got bullied, but I got into fights because of the bullying. Because that's the only way I knew how to resolve it.
That's what your dad taught you.
Nah,
Hey,
I
but
never
it's
got
better
into a fight.
than crying and letting them see you cry. You know. I bet he never bullied me again. Then I got into high school, and then there were bigger kids, and then I was like, okay, how am I gonna handle this?
So-
I never experienced that in high school.
No, in
No,
high
you,
school,
you mostly experience that in middle school.
middle school,
I didn't
elementary.
either.
But here,
Kids in middle school are just fucking wild, bro.
I had never
the
been
bullying.
bullied in my life.
I don't think I have either.
maybe because you're. Do you think it's because it's a girl or guy thing?
What? No.
Anybody can be a bully. Like,
Have you seen my size? Everybody makes fun of my size, but I don't remember being bullied in school.
Well, no,
Yeah,
that could
mine
be
too.
that could be true.
But nowadays they bully you. They have more things to bully you about. Back then, it was for me, for example, ref or Mexican, and I'm a Cuban. Because
Yeah, but back then that had a different
You
weight
look like
than
a
it
white
does
boy. Who
now.
called you Mexican?
no, because people here, well, people back then or Americans, not all Americans, most Americans, from my experience, if you talk Spanish, you're Mexican. I'm like, no, dude, we're not the only we're not the only speaking nationality out there. There's a lot of them. So
Yeah, but back then that carried a different weight than what it carries now.
yeah, now
if
you
you
don't
think
even
about it.
care.
Yeah, that's now.
But
But
there's
back
more-
then you used to care. Like if somebody called you, oh, it's fucking ref, this and that, you'd be like, hey, what the
But
fuck?
that's the only thing that they could bully you about. Besides, unless you were fat or an
No, I
ugly
mean,
kid or had a
You're,
big
you're
nose.
only saying that
Listen,
now,
a bully
but
is gonna
there's,
bully you,
there's,
and he's gonna find a
regardless.
reason.
so many things
to just-
they can bully you about.
What I think, if I ever have kids,
Okay, and look, let's talk about those bullies. How did I grow up? Like, what are they? What do they
Correct.
see at home?
Why are they
Why are
bullying
they
other
bullying?
kids?
maybe
You
it's-
know,
maybe
they-
they see that at home. Yeah, they see.
They probably get bullied themselves by their parents. You know,
That's number one.
or
100%.
even their brothers, or they see that at home, or they just feel sad
Or
and
the
depressed.
internet. They learn it in the internet since now
Or-
it's everything that's out there and then everything
Yeah.
is like, oh no, because bullying and bullying and bullying. He keeps hearing it.
So
He
maybe
learns
teach your kids that it's not
from
about
TikTok.
them, though. It's about the bullies.
It
They're the
could be
problem.
different things because there's kids that grow up with perfect parents, perfect everything, and they're still assholes and little bullies.
Right?
Yeah.
That's if they were really like spoiled and like they think they deserve everything.
I'm gonna teach my kid to like everybody.
Oh Dios.
And
Not
to
like
be
everybody.
liked.
Not everybody.
Yeah,
Like
don't,
You need to
everybody.
have a common sense and scan people.
I'm not gonna tell you how to teach them, but don't teach them how to like everybody. Just
He's
teach them
not gonna have enemies.
teach him
If
how to
not,
say
that's-
no. No. Teach him how to say no a lot.
Let's not get into that
Boundaries.
right now,
Boundaries.
please.
Why not?
He's barely 2 months.
Who do
He
you think
has
is
to
gonna
learn how to love people, bro.
Okay, out of the two
Are
of
we
you,
gonna explain to the people watching that you're my husband and that's our kid together that we keep talking about?
yeah, we're talking about
Let's not traumatize the kid. You
we're
gotta.
talking about imaginary kids here.
No.
It's not imaginary. It's
I
very
know,
real.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Shit, it's real.
It was all a delusion.
I don't think that was explained.
Yeah,
So we are married and the kid is together. So those
Okay.
teaching methods that you want to use, we're gonna have to discuss eventually.
who do you think is
Not
gonna be?
here.
Who do you think is gonna be the tough parent? You or Yalina?
Yalina.
Me.
Johnny.
You tough? He wants to teach his kid how to love people.
Well, that's not bad. Oh, love is always good.
Yeah, of course.
I think she's gonna like mamantearlo much.
I will.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm telling you, bro.
I could teach him.
Yeah,
For
she could probably
good
teach him a
things.
thing or two,
I could
obviously,
talk.
but I will be the balance in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you let's have an experience right now. I'm a teacher. Okay. Yeah, let's
An example.
an example
And
of an experience that happened to your kid
Oh,
at school
okay.
or something.
okay.
Uh-huh.
Let's do an experiment. That's what you're trying to
Experiment.
say.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not good with word, guys. I don't even know why I'm doing a podcast.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm the teacher, and your kid just got bullied. They called him. They were telling him, "Hey, your phone is old. You probably can't afford
Oh,
it
God.
because you're poor." How would you handle that?
As a parent?
Yeah, talking to Yanni. Yeah, because we're
Me?
yeah.
Wait, but you're
Who
the
goes
teacher,
first?
and,
I'm the
and you're
teacher,
the
and
one
I'm
telling
calling
me
you.
this.
I'm calling you because your kid is crying, and
How old
he
is
was
he?
bullied.
What grade are
Yeah,
we
how
in?
old is?
Yeah.
What grade do you think he's
No, no, no.
going?
Are you telling me?
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
the
you're
one
the
who did it.
one put in the
Let's see.
scenario.
Let's go middle school. Because in kindergarten, yeah, middle
No,
school.
but
No,
please,
middle school,
those are not real
kindergarten. What are you
problems.
talking about? Middle school is like 6th to 8th grade.
Yeah.
Kindergarten is like
You think he's gonna
he's
be
5
bullied?
years old.
You think he's gonna be bullied?
He's not gonna be.
Nah, bro.
elementary,
There's,
elementary,
There's
elementary.
no way that somebody bullies another kid when they're 5. What?
Okay,
Exactly.
well,
That's what
elementary.
he's saying.
Yeah, so
So
elementary.
middle school. He's in middle school.
Middle school or elementary?
Middle school.
Middle school.
Middle school?
Okay, so hey, Jonathan,
And my kid is crying in middle school?
he's crying because.
And I'm gonna be the tough one. Right.
Okay, so your kid is crying. I have him here in the office because some kid was calling him names that he had an old phone.
Okay,
and he
how old
probably
is my
could've-
kid? How old is my kid?
Well, if he's in middle school,
Six.
six,
Seven.
7, 8.
What are you guys talking
No,
about,
no.
bro?
Nine
Nice.
years old is 5th grade. So he should be
Exactly.
10.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be 11 in 6th grade.
10, 11
middle
years
school.
old.
Okay, yeah.
So he's crying.
Yeah. He's crying because somebody called him names that he had an old phone and he didn't have a brand new phone like everybody else because he probably can't afford it. And he's probably poor.
He's a poor kid.
Yeah. He's a loser.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
okay.
yeah. Calling him a loser.
I'll look at
That's
him
what dog
in the
is.
eye and I'll be like, "Are you fucking kidding me, bro?"
You're gonna curse to your kid in front of the teacher?
I'm not gonna say it like that, but I'll be like,
Oh.
"Are you kidding me, bro? Like, look at yourself. You're 11 years old. Like, what are you doing? This is unacceptable. You're not supposed to cry for that."
Explain. And would you explain to him why he shouldn't cry?
What? Me?
No.
Oh,
Who's like, what would you do?
How would
when
you
you're at
handle
home?
it,
How would you handle
Yanni?
it with him? Forget about the teacher and the other bully. You can't smack the other kid as much as you want.
I would first be concerned about his feelings and why he's crying, not that he's not supposed to be crying at all, just because he's 11 years old. So I would question, why are you crying? Why do you feel? What was said? How did you react? And I will go from there to teach him how to not be in that position or feel that way again. I'm a better parent.
Because by mistake, you might just teach him not to cry, and then he's just gonna
Yeah.
like suppress his feelings and not tell you stuff. 'Cause
Yeah,
then
that's
you tell him,
another,
"Why
and
you
that's another
cry?"
tough one now for especially for men.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's okay to cry.
They've always taught us suppress your feelings because
Yeah.
you're a man.
Men don't cry.
Don't cry, and then you
It's not that
suppress
I
it for your whole
want
life.
him to suppress his feelings, but I want him to find the logic behind everything, looking at from an outside perspective.
So yeah, you basically tell them, hey, it's okay to cry.
Like,
You know, everybody has feelings, but
Like,
this,
are you kidding me? Like, what's going on? I'll be like, bro,
What you're trying to say is look at yourself. You don't
Like-
have a need to cry for this. You know, you have everything. You know why you have the phone. You know why we gave you this type of phone. You know why we are not giving you a more advanced phone. That's what you're trying to say?
I would make sense
So that's
into
an
him.
interesting topic. About
and would you teach him or tell him how to handle that situation if it ever happens again? Like
Yes.
how to speak back.
Of course. First things first. Ignore that shit.
Best advice ever.
Like when somebody comes to you with that silly ass comment that, "Oh, your phone," ignore that shit, bro. That's it. Move along.
So about guys suppressing his feelings.
Yeah.
That they're raised like that.
They're not raised like that. I feel like the old generation. I don't know how.
They're raised like that because your parents raised you like that. You're gonna raise your kid like that, and it's generations. From generations.
Talking to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
Poorly
Yeah,
in the mic situation.
I don't think it's changed from like years.
Oh, at all. I think it's gotten worse.
that
You
men
think so?
can't cry.
I
In
think
No.
what
I
sense?
think I think people are way more comfortable now than before. Guys are
Yeah.
like
Yeah, bro.
yeah,
More sensitive.
more sensitive, more open. I mean, it's a good thing, I guess.
But wait,
Uh,
guys are more sensitive in what way? Because it could be in a good way or in a bad way. I feel like they're more sensitive in a bad way.
Wait, you said guys are more sensitive?
I feel like we don't have that like stigma around. Like the guys have to be like
Like when they tell you when you're little, tú eres macho, tú no puedes llorar.
Yeah.
Like the men can't cry because they're just men and
Do
they
you
have to be
do
tough.
you think we still like
No.
have that like
No, no, no.
nowadays?
No,
do you
that in
think?
that sense, no.
No, not in that sense. No.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know the actual
The gentle parenting, we go back to
scientific
gentle
proof
parenting.
about it, but I still feel like men are looked upon as we can't cry or like like we can't express ourselves or our feelings because then you're looked at as a sissy or like you're not a man.
You still think that happens?
Yeah,
You express your feelings to us all the time, Orly.
but you're my friends. You're my friends. But
Still.
imagine if I'm a guy and I go on a date, let's say with a girl,
Oh, okay.
right? I'll give you an example. Somebody that doesn't know me.
Okay. You can't
I'm-
cry.
No, of course you're not gonna cry. But let's say you get hurt or something bothers you. If you express your feelings to that person in a good way, like not like
Are you on a first date right now?
yeah, first date, and then
Okay.
and then after, let's say the girl does something that bothers you, whatever, but you really like her. Or give you an example, because there's scenarios like that. And
His nerves are so specific.
what do you mean? So you get hurt or whatever. There's something that bothers you, and you
That she did?
yeah,
Okay.
Right.
and then you express it to her, right?
Mhm.
Some people or girls or whatever, they take that as like, you're not supposed to handle it like that way. I can't give you an exact
They'll get the
example because
ick.
I've never been through. Huh?
They'll get the ick.
Like the what?
The ick.
What's the ick?
You don't know what an ick is?
Oh, like
Yeah.
like that. But maybe it depends also how you express what.
First of all, if you're on a first date and you're expressing your feelings to me
No,
and you're being
after.
like that, I'm gonna be like, what the heck?
After
like, what is going on?
after the
right now?
date, after the date.
After the day, like an hour after the day, you
It's the
gotta
same
be more
shit.
Days after the date, on the second date,
Bro,
are
it's
you?
the same shit.
Okay,
You're
I
like
think-
fresh.
No,
so-
no, it's not the same because once you're starting to get somebody on the first date, you're usually very cautious. You don't say all the things you think or feel because you're trying to portray somebody.
Yeah.
Once you're in a relationship, then things start coming up, and once you're married, everything's out.
Yeah, probably my scenario was not the best one
No.
to give.
No. Yeah.
But I don't know how to explain because I've never
Let's
been.
work on those scenarios.
I've never been to the. I never. I don't know, but I do think men are like. I don't know. They're like. How do I explain it?
Tougher?
No.
Are supposed to be
Supposed to
tougher.
be tougher, or like we hold like we're.
You suppress your feelings.
It's still there. Because think about it. The kids that are being raised are like, okay, no, it's okay for you to your feelings and all that. They're still kids. They're still growing. But if you're old now, you still have that old mentality where men are, men, and you don't cry and you don't do this, and you know what I mean? Which is good, but it's also bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily suppress my kid from crying. On the other hand, I'll be like, Bobby, you can always tell me what's going on. I would have constantly communication with my child, bro.
Communication.
Like that's the number one thing. You gotta have communication with your child, bro. You gotta give them that confidence that they can just come up to you and talk to you about anything. When I tell you anything, Triple
And
X.
even when you give
Triple X.
children that confidence and that guidance, and they grow up in a good home that it's open and you could always come and tell us, there comes an age and a time that they're still gonna hide stuff from you because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
having
no.
it tough.
Yeah, that's
And they're gonna meet
Yeah,
people.
And they're gonna talk to their friends, and they're not gonna tell you everything all the time, but they know that they could come to you. They just know, like Maura was saying, they know. She knew. That doesn't mean they're always gonna come.
This is how I could explain it better.
You've been thinking about that?
Yeah, I've been because
Oh, he's going back to the date.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rewind.
not the date, but like Johnny, have you felt in your lifetime sometimes you need to suppress something as a man because they'll judge you?
Okay.
I'm using it as an example because
That's a pretty specific example because right now I can't really recall a moment like that. But I've had to like suppress myself with my partners or previous partners.
that's an example.
So that's an example.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah, I've done that many times.
It's happened to me too.
But like from crying or being weak in front of them, or from expressing your feelings
your
to them.
feelings.
All sorts of things, from crying, from expressing feelings, from letting it out.
Why? Because they would judge you, or because you felt that they're not gonna listen? Because there's different scenarios. He's
it's not
trying
It
to-
has to do with a lot of things, like, and I think it has to do a lot with personality. Like in my case, yo me tranco mucho to the point that I can't even express myself,
That's correct.
no matter how hard I try to express myself. Like it comes a point in time where I'm like so trancao, just locked in. I'm not gonna say anything. I just look at you, and I'm just there, like
That could be good or
wanting
bad.
to say so many things, and
That's bad.
at the end
That's
of the day,
bad.
super
it's,
bad.
it's bad, but it's
It
also
is super bad because why? That scenario ends, and whatever's going on here ends, and I'm back there breaking my mind in half.
yeah. But then there's my scenario that when that happens to me, I express it, but I express it in the wrong way because I'm not thinking right.
You're not thinking of what you're saying. You're
Yeah,
just saying. So-
I'm angry or
You're saying
or
what you
this.
think.
No, not exactly. I'm saying it wrong, and then when I said it, then I think about it, I'm like, damn, I could have said that completely different. So I basically talked.
He's
before I
talking without
talk-
thinking.
Yeah,
He's just saying whatever
it's all
is coming up.
feelings.
Yeah.
It's all feelings.
Right.
But I'll give you an example. If women and some women do that, right, in relationships, they're angry,
They're
and we
impulsive?
listen most of the time. Men listen, like they take it. But if you do that with a woman, oh man, you're like
Do what?
express
You just go
yourself,
off,
all your
like,
feelings.
go off
Go
on
off
somebody.
or
Without thinking.
express yourself.
No,
'Cause going
like,
off and expressing
Let's say
yourself are
something
different
bothered
things.
you, and you express it in the wrong way
You're going
because
off.
you're mad. You're going off, and then you thought about it after, and like, damn, I could have said that better. When they do it to you, it's like, oh hell no. But when a woman does it, men take it most of the time because we're men and we're supposed to take it. That's how I feel. It's different.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I agree with
I
Orly.
agree.
I
Do you
agree with
understand what
Orly.
I'm saying?
And
Yes.
we still think about it too. Like if I
Yeah.
go off on Johnny and then I say something I wasn't supposed to say, I still think I go back once I'm calm and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that word or called him this or screamed. We still think too after the fact.
Yeah.
After the fact, that's a key word.
Wow.
But what about if he does it to you? Do you think you don't take it as well
Oh,
as he
he'll be
does?
dead.
Like, you see?
Dead.
Not everybody, but most. Because we're. It's like it's been built that men are supposed to and we're human. We have feelings too. Like
Well,
If-
men are like raised as like or seen as like, oh, you're like the protector, and so you have to like
but being a
act
protector,
like one, and then what comes with that is just like being tough, not cry.
not exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's when you
Take
think
the
about the
pain.
word.
Yeah.
What other like words come to mind? Like what when I say okay, guys are like supposed to protect, right? And girls are seen as more like no, I'm not gonna say weak because it's not weak the word that I'm looking for. It's more like we're the ones that are gonna be protected. How would you?
You're more emotional.
No, you're jumping from one thing to the other. Not emotional. Everybody can be emotional. Guys just don't show it like girls do.
Why?
Correct.
For example, like if I'm sad about something, I'm more likely to like go ahead and like tell Jelena like, oh, I'm sad about this, and even cry. It's really hard unless like you guys are friends. Obviously, you're gonna do that with each other.
I've
But
done
you,
it. I've done it before.
of course, because you guys are friends. But not
Right.
every guy that you see is gonna have a conversation and is gonna cry like,
Oh,
oh my
no,
god,
no.
this is happening
Yeah.
to me. You're not,
But it's
Rarely.
okay to
because
have
they're
that.
supposed to keep that like character. They're supposed to stay in character always.
They're
Like
so-
I'm the man.
But
There's-
you look how everything ties. Even that goes back to how you were raised.
Exactly.
How you were raised.
That's where it comes from. So it's not your fault. It's
So
not
like
our
if
fault.
my dad was like tough, you can't cry, even if it was a girl, because it
Yeah.
has happened too. I would be tough and I wouldn't cry. And then for guys, it's like you're raised, you can't cry, you're a boy, you know, you're a man, you don't cry, you don't show your feelings. And then, but Johnny is, did they do that to you ever?
I think I used to get that a lot.
But you want me
From
to
this
tell you
guy.
the difference? It's okay, yeah, it comes from your how you're raised, your parenting and all that, but it also society has it built in.
always.
Like guys are not.
Yeah, of course.
So imagine if we're in a club and you go,
scenario.
oh, John, you express yourself as a woman, like your feelings, you know, like.
Why are you
What?
crying in the
What?
club?
But I'm giving you like
You know, I've seen girls cry in the
yeah,
club,
right,
but
but
I've
like-
never seen a guy.
Yeah, I've never seen a guy.
But I'm pretty sure there's guys out there that they've had the thought in their mind like, no, quiero explotar, and they're like, no, because you don't have to like be tough. And I think being tough and protective and being a man, that doesn't have to. It doesn't have anything to do with expressing your feelings or being less tough because you are.
It doesn't, but like you said, it's like society tells
Yeah,
you to do
so
that. So
I
that's what
think
I
it's-
was saying.
So
They have to stay in character.
So at the
like-
end of so to get to the final thing here is that there is a difference,
between what?
men and women,
Of
when it
course
comes
there
to
is.
Oh,
yeah.
of course, bro.
But do
That
you
was
think
not the discussion here.
no? But do you think it should change?
Change what? No, I mean we have our roles. Men are men.
We don't want to
women
talk
are-
about roles right now.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't want to get into
But
this.
I'm not saying where. Should it change? What should I do? I think that men should like maybe be more open. Yes, because I think that a lot of like problems in relationships is because men are not open enough and they don't communicate enough and they suppress their feelings, and a lot
agree.
of things can like. I'm
Do you know
giving
why
my
I
back,
think
I'm
it should
sorry.
change? Also, you gave a,
So yes,
a
I
lot
think
of good
men should
points.
be like more open, get more
And
Should
therapy.
we be
society-
more tough?
and society should treat that differently when it comes to men. You know why? Because it also has a lot to do with mental health issues in men. That
Of
brings
course,
up a lot
but
of
and
mental health.
also like men like I said, like they don't talk about their feelings. They
But
don't. I
then
think
you-
they should go to therapy more. you
But
know,
that has
get more help.
that has to do with other factors too. Like, I mean, what if somebody's not opening up to their other partner because their other partner is not as receptive of that person's feelings when they open up?
That's different, though. That's just
That's
your-
different
No,
because
that's-
then why are you dating somebody that's not receptive of your feelings?
I mean,
Not okay. Let me
I
let
can
me
give
reword
examples.
it. Let me reword it. Not receptive of your feelings, but of the way that you tend to like desahogarte.
Give me an example.
Okay. I'm just really mad about something right now, and I'm mad at her. Let's say, and I just come up to her, but I'm feeling super like stressed out, and I just go off on her because you this and that and this and that. How would she take that?
Well, not good because you went off.
no sex for a whole year. No, I'm just,
But if you come and you say, "Listen, this is what's happening. This
Basically.
is how I feel."
Yeah, but maybe you reached a point where you can go to her saying it like that, like with that calmness of like, hey, you know, this, that, because maybe you've tried that a million
and
times,
she was never okay.
right? So now this time around, you're like, that's it. All hell breaks loose and you're just going off. You can't control yourself.
That I mean, it's happened. It's happened to me, but I think it all comes in.
Like maybe she receives that like super on the defensive mode, you know, like, hey, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like
Back off.
back the fuck up. And that maybe that affects you. Maybe you'll be like, shit, I can't even like express myself because this shit happens. So now I'm even gonna suppress my feelings even further along the way. Now I'm just gonna create another wall. Like boom, that's it.
Don't you think it's also the approach?
Okay, so we're this is a relationship where I guess in the relationship topic, right? So I thought you were like all the way in the beginning. From the beginning, when you start a relationship, I think it's important to know how each
Yes.
other work. And you know how they say like everybody has their love language. I think you should also know how each other react when you're angry, right? So like me, for example, when I'm angry, I don't like to talk about things. I like to shut down and wait for it to pass because I'm really impulsive. So I'm gonna go off, right? So knowing that I'm gonna go off, my partner should know that he needs
Right.
to give me that time to cool off.
So you should
Right.
tell him.
So we should have
beforehand.
like.
You should tell
but
him
that-
beforehand. Listen, I'm this type when this happens.
Right. You should. This
Or
is
I don't
part
even
of
have
the
to tell you.
communication.
You know what I think
You
it is
should
too.
learn it. Like you should figure it out.
You know what I think it is too. Nowadays, I could talk from experience. People get into relationships too quick, and they don't think it's too quick, but I think it is too quick because you need to. No, because there's questions that
Wait,
you don't really ask in the beginning, like her, for example.
Right.
That question I could have. Let's say I get in a relationship with her and I forget to ask her, and she forgets to tell me that. But then we have other things we get to know.
But
other things,
along
not that.
as you should be learning that
Yeah.
as the relationship progress. Like you're gonna have your first argument and you're gonna see how each other reacts, and then you're gonna have the second one, and then you're gonna sit down and talk because at the beginning of a relationship, all you do is talk and talk and talk and talk about everything.
Right.
So eventually that topic's gonna come up. And if it doesn't come up, you could learn by seeing and being with that person all the day during the live when you live together, whatever. Because I already know how Johnny works. He may not know how I work, most likely, I'm pretty sure. But I'm a very I like to learn people and how they talk, how they act. I like to study the individual.
Yeah,
So
but
I know how Johnny works.
yeah, but there are people that they just go in there and they just grab on to the good things, ignoring all the bad traits that, or all the few bad traits that may come up in the beginning of the relationship. You get what I'm saying? So they go deep in there, and ya más adelante es que empiezan a salir las cosas, and then those bad traits start coming out y tú te estás dando cuenta, but it's already late. You're already in the relationship. You've already committed to that relationship.
I mean, unless you sign the papers and you're not really committed, right?
Of course.
You can get out of it.
But I think
But it's responsible to communicate those things in the beginning of the relationship. If you really want to be with the person, like I want us to work, I don't want to be fighting.
But that's what I'm saying. Like many people just go in there and they just grab onto the good things. They
Okay,
don't-
so let's say you're already in an old relationship and this is happening. Shouldn't you know how to approach her to make her listen? Because coming randomly and telling her, hey, this, or going off and screaming on her doesn't seem to work. There has to be an option that you should know about her. Oh, God. That will make her, like, understand and realize what you're saying to her or in the relationship. There has to be a way. You just have to know cómo entrarle a esa persona. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I think you have to be smarter about it. I
Yeah.
mean, I'll give you an example. When I get upset, like I told you, I blank out and I do dumb stuff. Then I realize I did something dumb. Then I try to fix it, but then it's too late because some people can't handle it. They think you should know how to handle that before you get lost. So, like you've been through enough already.
But this is a little like different.
No.
You need to know that that's not effective. Like as a grown person, you should know that that's not like an effective way of like
But
fixing any problem,
yeah, but some people like for example,
especially if you're in a relationship, because there's only so much that somebody can like handle,
but
right?
that's what I'm saying. It depends on the person too. Like me, I that's something when I get angry, it's tough for me to stop myself and control. It's always been like that. It's hard to do,
So
but it all depends. Like if you can, I don't know.
But that's fine. If I'm in a relationship with you, I know that about you. So obviously, like it's not hard to tell. Like
That's
I'm
another,
gonna know that by our first fight.
but that's what I'm saying. It also depends on the other person because that's a flaw that you have. Let's say I have that flaw. The other person should be like, this is not okay. There's other ways to. It's not only you. Like if you did something wrong, the other person should know how to handle what you did, and then that's how you both communicate better. Like, cause if the other person tells you, hey, listen, this is how you reacted. I don't think you should react to that. Next time, talk to me like this, and I understand you better. Then that's like that built like like
it's
something.
called communication,
Yeah,
only.
yeah. But some
Yeah,
people.
but you did say that I've always been like that. So it seems like it's something that you're always gonna do.
But when I've had somebody that knows how to stop me and tell me, listen, hey, because they have like it's tough to control that, but there's
It's not really tough to control yourself. First of all, like
yeah.
no, it's not. As a grown person, it's not hard to control yourself, okay?
Sometimes.
Maybe it's not about like how you feel, but how you react to things, right? So if something makes me angry, I detect that it's making me angry. But from there to like go off, there's a little bit of a choice there. I'm gonna be like,
Well,
okay, I can't go off because
I don't go
it's-
off like I've never gone off like like maybe I should rephrase. I don't go off
So I
like
do think you can control yourself. We
Yeah.
can control ourselves all the time, and it like
I just block myself and then like I don't want to talk or this or that. But it's not like I scream at the person or I say like
but
hurtful
we
things.
know what you mean.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Well, but the
firsthand.
people out there. don't
So
know.
Orly just basically gets up and leaves.
Yeah, I basically like I don't want to.
That's his blocking.
Yeah, and then
And then he sends a text saying something hurtful.
no, not hurtful, but like something bothers.
Then you go off on, yeah. You
But
go
not
and
a-
express how you feel.
but express it deeply, but
Yeah.
not in like disrespectful way.
No.
So
Sometimes you're a little disrespectful.
maybe people can handle.
Hey.
He says maybe people can handle no early. Sometimes you are.
I guess, but I don't know.
He
For
says
me, this should-
sometimes I'm just brutally honest. Sometimes you cannot be brutal. I cannot go out there and be like, "You're ugly, you're fat." Like that's not being brutal. Like that's being rude. First of all,
It depends how. It depends how.
No, I agree. I
That's
agree with
rude.
Maura.
Yeah, that's
Orly.
rude.
he
I
always
agree.
says that I'm just brutally honest. Sometimes you need to
No.
not be.
But I'm
Yeah.
brutally honest when somebody asks me a question. If if a fat person asks me, "Am I fat?" I'm like,
Oh,
no. I'm giving you an example. I'm not gonna go out there and be like, "Hey, you're fat. You should work out." No.
that was an example. First of all.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm brutally honest, depending on what the scenario is and what if they ask me a
Orly,
question.
you're very tough with your words.
yeah.
You are. You don't filter. There has to be something in your brain that says maybe I shouldn't say this.
Yeah.
Let me reword this
Yeah.
and say it's.
Oh, I have so many
part of
reminders.
being logic.
Like those, like, hey, maybe you should not say that. Maybe you should just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes you
No.
can't just and then like shield yourself with like that's just who I am. That's you can change. People can change.
Yeah, people could change.
and you can
but-
control yourself. I feel like every time like you come and tell me like this is just who I am and like that's just who I am. That's not that's basically you saying
Yeah.
this is who I am. I'm never gonna change. I'm never gonna grow. I'm just never gonna be a different person. This is just me.
I
like,
agree.
That's ugly. Like that's not. You shouldn't say that.
I agree. You
You're
should
right.
not use that
Are we
as an
gonna
excuse.
gang on Orly?
No, this is actually
I'm up for it.
it's helpful because sometimes you need people to tell you, hey, you can't do that or you this or that.
Or you shouldn't
We
do
tell
it.
you all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, how far are we in?
1 hour.
An hour.
Wow.
I
An
think.
hour? I think that's gonna be a wrap up, guys.
Then he slept for an hour. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Baby slept for an hour.
I hope he sleeps till 5 a.m. actually, Maura. That's the
Yeah.
schedule.
Oh,
Let's just
I
hope.
Well, thank you guys for coming into our podcast. episode number 2.
Yeah.
I love how we ended attacking early.
I mean,
Right? I was hoping,
It's
I
a
was
wrap.
waiting the whole time. It's a wrap. We done.
Anything you would like to
We
add?
have accomplished.
I will change my communication skills.
Thank you.
You will
Like proofread,
improve.
I will. Yeah, I will try to
Improve.
improve.
You know, I volunteer to proofread your comments
Yeah,
and text
yeah.
before you send them.
My horrible grammar.
Thank
No,
you
not
guys
the
for
grammar. What you're saying, what you're actually trying
And
to
the
say.
grammar too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll blame that on autocorrect. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good night, and it was a pleasure talking to you girls.
Good night.
Good night.
Nate.
Tengo el oído, Gabriel.
Mierda.